The following is not meant for children, has been edited by Cute Stuff, and is brought to you by support from Patreon. Hello, and welcome back! I am MaesterAelix, and this is MaesterAelix's Build Love Time, or better known and easily said as MaesterAelix's BLT. The videos in this series are where I go over character builds for some of my favorite RPGs, and in this video I plan to show you step by step how to make a character build that I have really enjoyed and explain why I enjoy it, and hopefully you will too. Now, I like to make fun and flavorful character builds, something that leans more into ROLE play as opposed to ROLL play. However, it never hurts to give yourself a numerical advantage from time to time. Now, my way is far from the only way to build characters. This is just one character built in a way I think is fun. But, hopefully, I've done a good enough job that you would want to play this character too. However, feel free to change things to make it a character you want to play. As I go through this build, I'm going to go into detail into what I've selected and why I've selected the things I do, but what I won't be doing is reading the books to you. First off, that's painfully boring. Second, doing that removes the need for you to get your own books. I love these games, and I'd love for you to support the publishers, so buy their books. Now, before I get my bacon in the pan and the bread buttered, this episode is dedicated to and in collaboration with Ryan Costello, whom has written for Renegade games. Keep an eye out on his essential builds. He's making one of Frank Horgan for me in the near future. A while back, after I made episode 2 of this series, Freelance, he called me out on the No Direction podcast network. It was Upshift, episode number 56. What makes a core rulebook?
MaesterAelix is a Transformers character. Actually, it's a YouTube channel, and he often does character creation. And right now, he is gearing up for a Transformers campaign, and so he is doing character generation videos about the different characters that are going to be in that campaign. He's putting out one a week. He's put out 2 as of this recording, and I enjoy them. They're about 15 minutes. They go into the builds, the concepts, and he does put a lot of thought into the concepts and then finds the appropriate mechanics for them. So if you like what I do with Essential Builds, you will probably like what he does with his Transformer character generation videos.
So, with all of that out of the way, wash your lettuce, slice your tomatoes, and let's get this BLT going.
The missiles are for long range. The big cannon is for when I get a little closer. The little cannon is for when I get a lot closer. And these are for when I get as close as I like.
Today's BLT is for the Transformers RPG by Renegade Games. This week's art is an amazing piece brought to us by, again, Stefano Romano. If you would like an amazing piece of art by Stefano Romano, please see them over on X at StarDropkick. You can also find more of their art on their website, romanostefano.com. The character today is Deadeye, the Loyal Soldier. This bot's alt mode is the G.I. Joe Persuader combat vehicle. You see, when the Autobots and the Decepticons had crashed into the mountain many millions of years ago, well, something that large would not go wholly unnoticed by the people of Earth. Yeah, at first the big yellow slab of metal was unknowable, but by the 1980s human technology advanced enough so we have an idea of what they were looking at. So, US government scientists snuck in, took scans, and was able to reverse engineer some tech, which explains how the Joes, and Cobras, had blaster tech in the 1980s, along with some other super tech, like metal flexible enough to be a face, or how a certain snake commander sounds exactly like a certain air commander. That aside, once the bots came online, and the Autobots and Decepticons started their war again, there were many battles. One of these battles did not go unnoticed by the humans, and the Joes were sent in to help. During this battle, an old warbot, Deadeye, was wounded. Wheeljack and Ratchet were quick to act, and while they kept quiet on how the human-made vehicles were compatible with their own tech, they were able to transplant Deadeye into a Persuader tank that was at the battle. Deadeye was glad for a new lease on life, and for now 2 functioning optics. However, he recognized this new body was made on Earth, and while not actively fighting the Decepticons, he helps to stop the Cobra terrorist whenever he can. Especially with his new human friend Backstop at his side. So, let's stack out our ingredients and riffle shuffle them together. Just so you know ahead of time, this build uses crossover materials from Transformers and G.I. Joe. The books you'll need to get from Renegade Games to make the character as I've set them out are the Transformers Core Rulebook, Decepticon Directive, Enigma of Combination, Transformers 1 Sourcebook, and the G.I. Joe Core Rulebook. Now let's get this starter stuff out of the way. Influence. While there are many excellent influences to pick from, I didn't want to burden Deadeye with any more penalties than needed, so I went with just one influence. However, that influence does represent his rebirth as a Cybertronian spark put into a human tech body, and under battlefield conditions no less. This influence is Experiment, and as for the bonuses this gives, I went with bonus option number 4, an additional integrated non-weapon hardpoint. I have a specific plan for that one later. Origin. To further represent the mismatch of his spark and body, as he is not comprised mostly of Cybertonium, I had this be represented by taking the Drone Origin from Decepticon Directive. Now the Drone Origin perk, a hint of independence, gives us our choice of a general perk, but we have to take a drone imperfection as well. For the imperfection, I chose Energon Hunger. This represents, for the majority of his life, the Persuader vehicle ran on gasoline and not Energon. The trade-off, however, is the general perk Weapon Bays from the Transformers 1 Sourcebook. This perk is amazing, letting us trade crew capacity for our alt mode for more integrated weapon slots. Mwah! Perfect. As a drone, we also get the origin stats and perk of another origin, and for Deadeye, I went with Rainmaker. Its origin perk, the Fiercest Among You, gives Deadeye another integrated weapon slot, but it is also reinforced. Now, it never clearly states in the book what reinforced means beyond its mechanical value, but I always envisioned it as being a weapon that's mounted on a turret. And even if you have a weapon needing multiple slots, as long as one is reinforced, the whole weapon is. So a big turret for the combat vehicle, yes please. Rainmaker comes initially with a crew capacity of 2, but I'm going to use the weapon base perk to bring that down to 1. The Drone Origin lets us pick our choice of essence increase in skill, so I'm going to be choosing to follow the suggestions of Rainmaker Origin and go with a +1 to speed essence and +1 to the initiative skill. We want to shoot them first. Role. Deadeye is a Vanguard, a role from the G.I. Joe Core Rulebook. This role is quite simply put amazing when paired with Rainmaker, and in all honesty, the only role I was thinking of when I was making this G.I. Joe combat vehicle. Vanguard gets the To Be a Hero perk of Ironhide. Wait, I know that guy! This perk is very nice and can let us ignore damage, which is a big theme for this role. And on that note, it also gives us the perk Personal Shield, which is another perk based on not taking damage. Its rules are a bit long, but well worth the read. However, Deadeye is much more focused on destruction instead of defense. This role gives us a Strength Essence, and I put that skill point into the Bronze skill, so it's not at a penalty when we need it for Ironhide. We also get a Social Essence, and being a Persuader vehicle, I put that into the Persuasion skill. Focus. There are some very good focus options for Vanguard, but come on, what other one could I take for Deadeye other than Heavy Ordnance? Heavy Ordnance and Rainmaker are like peanut butter and jelly, or peanut butter and chocolate. They work so well together. Its perk, Ordnance Expert, gives us a slew of effects, all about using heavy weapons easier and better. The one I want to point out most is that it lets you ignore the mounted trait on weapons, which is so nice. This focus gives us a speed essence, which has to be put into targeting or targeting specialization of heavy weapons. So I'm taking that specialization now, as opposed to later. Faction. Deadeye has been a loyal Autobot for millions of years, and while maybe one day he'll shout, "Yo, Joe," and mean it, for now he bellows, "For the Allspark," and gets all the bonuses that gives. Gear. Not gonna lie, when I first looked over the stats and weapons loadout of the Persuader vehicle, I saw all those weapons and missiles and I went, how in the world am I gonna fit it all in? And with a bit of thinking and a little bit of help from my friends, I figured it out. So, first off, in the internal slot that has the reinforced trait, I put a heavy machine gun from the G.I. Joe book. This weapon is perfect for a Vanguard, as it is a heavy weapon and it has the multiple target trait. Make sure when you get to the requisition step, you get the laser beam upgrade for it for perfect lore accuracy. In the other two slots, one native and the one granted from weapon bays, I put the rocket launcher. This represents the rockets mounted on the sides of the vehicle and are really good heavy weapons on their own. In the experiments bonus, non-weapon internal slot, I went with the support equipment of hard tread wheels. These wheels are prominent on the vehicle and are also featured heavily in the toys commercial, so I felt compelled to make them a feature. Plus, they're a really good support equipment. And last, but certainly not least, the Little Cannon is a catalytic cannon from Decepticon Directive. This is carried in his external slots. Now, I know the catalytic cannon is supposed to be an acid-based weapon, and the Persuader's passenger run gun is supposed to be laser-based, but it's an element weapon. Talk to your GM about swapping one element for another. Honestly, I can't think why they would say no. Now, with these weapons, you have a great array of ranges and uses, but it matches what Deadeye said at the start. As the missiles have the largest minimum range, the heavy machine gun is the next minimum range, and the catalytic cannon does not have a minimum range. Essence Step. As always, the Essence Step is an important one, and I had to select these ones a little more carefully as I wanted Deadeye to have a decent Energon score to work with. So, using the suggested spread of 4-3-3-2, I put things as such. The +4 goes to Smart's Essence. This is the slowest gain in the roll, so I wanted this to get an early boost for balance. For the skills, I put 2 into Alertness, because we want to be able to see our targets coming, +1 to Culture, because he's gonna learn stuff about Earth from his Joe friends, and 1 to Survival, because he's an old bot and a new body, and he really wants to stay alive. The first +3 goes to Speed Essence, which is very important. For the skills, I'm putting +1 into Driving, because of those wheels, and now we can use them a little bit better. +1 to Initiative, because we do want to shoot first, and +1 to Targeting. I know at the moment this is a little low, but it will go up and go up quickly. For the second +3, I'm putting it into the Social Essence. This stat raises up kinda quick, so it didn't need to be covered as much. I'm putting +2 skill points into Persuasion, because Persuader vehicle, and +1 to Performance. He can be a little bit of a show-off, from time to time, as a treat. And the +2 Essence boost would then have to go to Strength. As for the skills, that goes +1 to Might, because I want him to be able to punch people, and punch them hard, and +1 to Conditioning, because more hit points are always good. Hey, you've made it this far into the video. Thank you for that. Seems like you're liking the video, so please show that you do by hitting the thumbs up button down below. Maybe leave a comment, tell me what you're enjoying. Now that all that has been established, let's get into the levels. This time we're going all the way to level 10 to get this complete build. Level 2. Like so many Joe rolls, levels have varying amount of perks, and in this case, level 2 comes with 3 perks, which is awesome. The first is fighting style, where we can choose a fighting style. There's a bunch that we could use for Deadeye, such as close quarters battle or long shot, but in the end I went with trigger happy. Keep in mind that you can change these up at certain levels later on, if you want to. The next perk is the Heavy, which gives you a pair of bonuses, but mainly when you're wearing heavy or super heavy armor, so keep that in mind when you requisition things. It's also very useful. And last is Inspiring Words, which is both thematic and very useful. Good team boosting support. This level also gives us a strength essence, and I want to put that into might because I was asked to make this bot able to box, and box well. So this is a step in that direction. Level 3. There are some levels and perks that are defining to a role and focus, and this level's Suppressing Fire perk is just that thing. This perk is an absolute beast, and why I made the main weapon a heavy machine gun. This perk is useful, and it's powerful, and once you'll try it, you'll love it. This level also gives us a point in Social Essence, where you want to put that skill is up to you, but I'm going to keep running with the joke and put it into Persuasion. Level 4. Now level 4 is one I have been waiting on. Level 4 lets us select a general perk, and being that Deadeye has a Joe soldier friend, well, human companion it is. His name is Backstop. Backstop is a real Joe character, so ask Google about him. He's an awesome dude and a great Joe. Now, a quick word on companions. I love human alien companion perks. While I, a Transformers Armada fanboy, do love me my minicons. Minicons can be a little complicated to build, which is fine. But the human alien companion perks are fantastic in their simplicity, and that they level up on their own. There's nothing you need to do to make them level up. However, I have one major beef with these perks. These companions only get 2 essence scores. So, what if you don't choose strength or speed as their essence scores? Do they just not have a toughness and evasion skill? Can they not be targeted? Talk to your GM about letting these companions have all 4 essence scores. In the perk, there are 2 you get to select that have a bonus. Just don't add that bonus to those essence scores. Anyway, rant over. Level 4 also gives us a nice +1 to speed essence, and I am very much putting that into targeting. Very nice. You always want to be able to attack better. Level 5. And now that we can, let's attack more often. We get extra attack this level. Nothing really to comment on, as this is a short, simple, and does what it says perk. Now, we also get an upgrade to our personal shield, but that's not a perk. Read the book, as it's kinda hidden in there. We also get a strength essence increase, and with all the bonuses to brawn we get from other things, we can just once more put this into might to better fisticuff things. Level 6. Speaking of short, simple perks, Blanket Fire is such a thing. And while its description is only 9 words long, it is powerful, it plays extremely well with suppressing fire. The HMG is an MVP still. Level 6 gives us a Smart Essence increase, and I want to roll that into the Alertness skill. Keep your head on a swivel, as they say. Level 7. This level's perk, Empty the Mag, is delightfully bonkers in all the best ways possible. This perk pairs excellently with extra attack we got back on level 5 and can really help take down big targets. We're also gifted with another point of Social Essence, which I again can recommend putting wherever you like, but I'm loving this joke, so once more into Persuasion because Persuader Vehicle. Level 8. Level 8 is another wonderful general perk level. Now, there is no I need this perk for this level, but there are so many good choices. Things like Dig Deep or I Still Function could work, and an excellent one is Weapon Master from the core rulebook. But in the end, I wanted to embrace not only Big Bot, but also the close combat desires that went with it, so I gave him Kung Fu Grip from the G.I. Joe core rulebook. This is just a fun perk to have and to say. Level 8 also gives us a speed essence increase, which is nice to put into targeting because it's our main combat stat. Level 9. If there was a better name for a Joe vehicle that becomes a Cybertronian warbot other than this level's perk, Battlefield Titan, I don't know of any. This perk is great. It helps your allies against some conditions, it pairs up with the earlier shield upgrade. This makes Deadeye an island of calm in a sea of battle, and that's both amazing and highly cinematic. This level is also very nice and gives us a strength essence increase, which I'm putting into the might specialization of unarmed combat. Again, we had to get in there and punch these guys in the face. Level 10. Woo! Now this is one heck of a level. Once again, G.I. Joe giveth, so our cup runneth over. We get two actually, perks. The first is Deep Magazines, which is not only generally very handy, but kicks all of the butt when paired with Empty the Mag, letting you get a true 1980s action movie hero energy. Just fire about 1,000,000 bullets in that direction. It's okay. We don't need to reload. The second perk is... Not only does this perk have one of the funnest names to say ever, but it also fully embraces the use of your suppressing / blanket fire and the team boosting flavors. This is just fantastic all around. Now, the other kinda sorta that the book says we get is Ordnance Expert again, but that just means this level gives us a speed essence, and we must spend that on the targeting skill. I was gonna anyway, so no big deal. And with that wonderful perk gained, and for what I wanted to do for Ryan Costello's Deadeye, I'm done. I will admit, when I started this, I was not familiar with the G.I. Joe role. I came to Essence 20 for the Transformers, and that's what I know best, but I gotta say, looking this role over, I am very much in love. It would fit excellently alongside the Transformers Gunners and Warriors. Alternatives. Well, there's a few ideas here that I had that could be done. If you're not trying to cram a wonderfully overgeared arsenal onto the body, you could change the Experiment Influence and Drone Origin out and not have those bonus slots and thus not have their downsides. Additionally, if you want, you can go the evil route and go for High Guard faction. This lets you get easier access to some upgrades. The training on Vanguard is amazing, so getting your hand on upgrades would be real nice. Well, with all of that being said, here's where I'm going to say thank you to Ryan Costello for giving me the inspiration for this video and for calling me out on his. For everyone else, thank you all for joining me. Please remember to like, comment, and of course subscribe. It's a little click for you, but a really big deal for me, and I greatly appreciate everyone who does. If you've enjoyed this video, please check out the links down below for links to the artist, my editor, my merch market, and of course my Patreon campaign, where you can get yourself a variety of rewards, including early access to all my videos. Thank you all for joining me, and I shall see you all on the next one. And I'd like to give a special shout out to all my patrons who help make these videos possible. Aaron Smith, Brian Pelfrey, Chris Armstrong, Dennis Detman, Harry Thompson, and Mark Milius. Thank you all so much for your contributions. I wouldn't have this channel without you. Thank you very much.